All right, good afternoon, man. It is Thursday, May 12th, 2022. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Harlan Municipal Utilities Board of Trustees to order. First item is the approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Seibert, aye.
And the next item is the approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of the April 28th board meeting, abstract of claims number 1212 in the amount of $534,355, and the upcoming board meetings, May 26th will be a regular board meeting, and June 9th an electronic board meeting.
One quick question, if I could interject. Was board member Trustee Shelton going to join
He said he was, but he is not on yet, so,
okay.
yeah.
All right, okay, I just wanted to clarify that. So.
If he gets on, I'll let you guys know that he's dialed in.
Thank you.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reese, aye.
Seibert, aye.
Who seconded that?
No.
Who motioned it? Randy, okay.
And next item is a revision of the water conservation policy number 6.
This is a carryover item from the previous conversations we had regarding the difference between residential and commercial gardening, basically, and producing products versus just for home use. And the water committee did meet and discuss that. So at that point, I'll turn it over to the committee members.
All right, basically we had a request that, businesses that require the use of our water for their livelihood and their day-to-day activities, that they would be exempt from the water conservation policy, which we've done on an individual basis in the past. This basically changes the policy to offer that exemption through the Tier 2. At Tier 2, everything is off the table on exemptions, and it didn't change. But as far as the Water Watch and the Tier 1, businesses are, as it reads now, any business, unless otherwise noted in this section, that depends on the use of potable water for daily operation is asked to minimize water use during a Water Watch, but is exempt from restrictions. This will not extend to a Tier 2 water warning. This was the best solution and the best wording that we could come up with to make sure that our businesses had the materials they needed to continue to earn their living. So,
if I could interject, we had a budget finance committee meeting earlier today, and the question came up, the way our conservation policy reads right now is that customer classifications and rates cannot change while the conservation policy is in place. We had as the board's aware, we've been working on a rate increase for water for some time, trying to juggle forced conservation versus just simply raising the monthly service charges as a step rate increase. Trustee Shelton was going to bring this topic up based on this morning's conversation, but what he was speaking about recommending, and another committee member can step in if she so wishes, was in the future to rescind the rescind the limitation on rate structure and rate classifications, so that we can go ahead and make some changes before October with regard to water rates. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. But since he's not here to offer anything, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure how that affects the...
It doesn't. I just wanted to...
The only classification that's mentioned in the water conservation policy is an interruptible customer. So it's my understanding that with the new rate increase, there won't be an interruptible customer any longer.
Correct.
So it won't affect the conservation policy at all. We can just strike that if we want, or if you leave it in there, it's not going to affect anything.
Okay. I just want the board to be aware of that in relation to the conservation policy. So there's that ongoing conversation.
Randy, did you have anything to add?
No, I mean, I think the important thing was we wanted to ensure that the businesses of Harlan can continue their operation, normal operation, as much as possible.
Right.
Hopefully they can conserve, but it isn't spelled out mandatory at this phase.
Any other questions?
I
motion to approve the revision of the water compensation policy number 6.
Second.
Roll call?
Michelle, aye.
Terrell, aye.
Reset.
Cyber guy.
Okay.
And just one thing on behalf of Creases, I did let her know that this is what was gonna come in front of the board. So she did wanna, she wasn't sure she'd be able to make it here, so she did just wanna say thank you if it was approved. She really appreciated it.
All right. Item number 5, City of Harlan request for customer list including customer addresses and phone numbers for a CDBG application.
I suppose you're looking to me.
I know you do.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I've already spoken with Gene Geddes about this, and I think this was pretty fully addressed at the last meeting, but it's a violation of FCC regulations because we wouldn't be providing any information to anyone that we would not be positive is like their home phone number, for instance, as opposed to their private cellular phone number. And the reason for that is we don't require, or HMU does not require, and has not in the past, them to provide information on which is which. And because I personally know this, there are certain prefixes that start with phone numbers that appear to be business numbers or residential numbers, such as 733 and 755, that actually are cellular phone numbers. So I honestly, there's really no way for us to do this. I did speak with Gene about it. He did say that he'd already anticipated that. He just wanted me to state that publicly at the meeting again and reiterate that we don't have the internal capability to comply with that request. But he does have multiple different options of obtaining that information independently that he's already put in place. And this is something that would take place, you know, it's not necessary that he has it immediately anyway. So we did have that discussion and he's fully aware of that. So, and by Gene, I just want to make sure the city administrators know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Do we need to take action on this or just?
Well, I mean, I don't remember if we had it as a vote on the last meeting, but the discussion was the same.
Yeah, we did, we had it as a vote, but the other thing that was just added this time was he had also asked about possibly putting a survey link on one of our newsletters as a separate insert, but I did include in the packets that we do have a policy that the board has that's not included. So if you guys want to vote on whether or not you would allow that or just keep the policy as is, they might appreciate that so they know how to move forward.
If it's the city that wants the insert in, why wouldn't the city have to pay for that?
Well, first the question is if you're going to allow it, because we have a policy that says that, a board policy that says it's not allowed.
Honestly, I like that policy.
Yeah,
I think we're a utility, and I think
Exactly.
that the expectation when you open your utility bill is that you're going to find out about your utilities and not be solicited for anything else. So even though it's the city and it would be nice to be able to help, I think it's appropriate that we maintain our policy as is. I'll open to other comments if they.
No, I think we just leave it as is. They could put a link on their webpage and just get the same thing.
Okay, again, I don't think we need to vote on anything, we're just gonna let it die due to the lack of a motion, so. All right, item number 6, J.J. Jensen Sports Field Lighting Presentation for donation and fundraising ideas. You're up, sir.
All right, donation part is not really me. I'll introduce myself real quick. Troy Shaven, plant controller for monitoring plants in Harlan, Denison, city council member, and also tonight coming forward from you on behalf of the Harlan Little League, representing them on our fundraising committee. So thanks for letting us come out tonight. Just kind of wanted, we think the project, we want to kind of share it in front of different organizations, different boards. We've done the city council, school board, and what the project is. You know, we call it our ambitious project is ballpark or summer nights and ballpark lights. So our fundraising project is to replace all the lights at J.J. Jensen Park. So that's another reason I wanted to come in front of HMU and kind of let you know of our ambitious goal of fundraising and potential electrical change and stuff like that. That's something that's involves our community, and so a very nice project. We hopefully could succeed in the near future. So just kind of give you some quick information. That's why I wanted to kind of take a few minutes if you didn't mind. Part of that is also we met with the chamber board, kind of did a presentation from them, kind of let people know some quick fun facts. High traffic area, about 20,000 plus people a year transact through that area down there for games and all that. We got 600 kids plus. I think we wrote about 250 games plus a year going on down that activity, so we think it's a great thing. And how Monogram got involved was when Monogram refinanced their company last year, our shareholders were generous enough to contribute money back to our Monogram Loves Kids Foundation so we could do this once-in-a-lifetime project in our communities. So I want to be clear that the matching grant we have in here advertising is $250,000 matching grant from Monogram Foods. We have this type of project going on in all our areas where our businesses are located. And I want to make it clear that this does not replace our annual $60,000 grant program that you saw in the paper recently. So this is completely separate. So that's part of our fundraiser. We're kind of working through there. Quick highlights, the 5-ball diamonds. This would not include Field 4. Because Field 4, you know, it's got indoor batting facility kind of taking up quite a bit of the area. So this would be the 5 fields down below. Project cost for Musco is right just under $1.25 million. That includes Musco and also projected cost to remove lighting, take stuff out, and that cost also included electrical work and stuff like that. They have their contractors from Des Moines come out and bury all new electrical wiring. So it would require electrical wiring new to all the poles. I don't believe technically it requires new transformers or anything like that down there in that area, but it does involve some new electrical wiring. So what this is kind of the new technology, the reduced glare. You know, we're not really, the ball diamonds aren't in the really heavily residential area. What that glare means is the light stays concentrated on the ball diamonds, doesn't go out into the surrounding neighborhood. So a few people on the south side might appreciate that a little bit. During summer, there might be a little less glare than that corner up there. We also projected 50 to 85% reduction in energy costs. Helps us a little bit. Maybe not the big dollar amounts to utilities, but a small portion. Got a 25-year warranty, comes with their product, and it's all LED, all Musco driven. The other part we want to probably include is they offer a streaming service. So you can build that into the project, and it allows to have 2 cameras at each field. And it goes to the Musco server, so you've got a service for Musco, and it can broadcast the games. We're not here to try to take over HMU or Farmers Mutual broadcasting games for the community. But it's an opportunity to have it built in. There's just video only, no audio, but an opportunity for anybody to watch their kid play, out of town, in town, stuff like that. So it's incorporated in the project. Like I said, so we're ambitious, we're just getting started. And I kind of mentioned ideas, so I'm open if anybody wants to tell me later what kind of fundraising ideas you got for our community to kind of take on board and listen. And we kind of broke the project down into 2 phases. Phase 1 would be the 3 little fields. We call them Field 1 and 2 and 3. That's about $750,000 to do those 3 fields. Then it takes about $525,000 to do the high school fields. We kind of prioritize that based upon the number of games that are played on the 3 little fields compared to the high school fields. A lot more games year-round from, say, April through October. So I don't know if anybody got any questions. I just kind of like said, sorry for the misleading quote of donation request. That really maybe was misworded or misquoted on that. It's just more of an awareness and using the platform to help communicate with our community. Obviously looking at Channel 12 commercial potentially coming up to let the community kind of see that and reach out to the paper. We're going to do an article about the paper, and we want to call it The History of J.J. Jensen. Tell a story about what a great group of people, the community did, I think something back in the early 70s where it used to be farm ground. So a generous donor who donated farm ground in the community who built the fields there originally, and kind of the story of like how it came about, the lights that were put up in the 90s, stuff like that, and kind of tell a story of the projects the city did, the backstops, fencing, booths down there, broadcasting booths and stuff like that, and then include the indoor batting facilities going up, and then this project here. So that's kind of what we're looking for, and kind of let you know what's going on in the community. So,
if I could add, part of the conversation with Councilman Shaven comptroller.
That's fine, I use all time.
Although we have not contributed funds directly in the past to some of these fundraisers for citywide projects, I'm not aware of anything that may preclude us from a service in kind, for example, if we had staff available, if they were willing to work, to help them with their trenching or their electrical wiring installation, something like that, versus making a dollar contribution. Yes?
The only thing you might want to check with legal on that is since it's actually for Little League, it's not for the city of Harlan. So I don't know if you can donate labor to a nonprofit. If it was the city, you would probably be able to, but since it's the Little League, you probably can't, but I would defer to Matt to speak on that.
I'll let
Can I
Troy
interrupt
finish.
first real quick? I'll tell you, the legalese around this, I forgot to mention that, so, the city's also doing a fundraiser for the Dream Playground at the same time. Obviously, it takes a lot of resources for this whole project, so, the reason it's coming under the Little League is the Little League Board is generous enough to volunteer their services to be the fundraising agency or fiduciary agent for this project. It's all city property down there. So what's gonna happen is the Little League raises the funds for the equipment, will purchase it and donate all the equipment to the city. Because it is city-owned property, so yes, we can write grants either under the Little League name or the city of Harlan. So that's kind of the way we structured it. And you kind of see in the city, we did lighting and improvement project is what's kind of on our records for this activity. And it makes it a lot easier to where the Little League is going to do the legwork, tracking all their seats, fundraising, stuff like that. Then materials will get donated over to the city because it is city-owned property. The Little League doesn't own anything down there, so for clarification purposes. So that's how we came up with the Little League being the fiduciary agent and the arm that's doing the fundraising.
Okay.
So, this is a question for Ken. Does the city of Harlan then pay these utilities for the lighting?
City of Harlan pays the utilities, but as with all the rest of the city utilities, we are reimbursed. So I mean, it would reduce the amount of money that we
Yeah,
donate to the city via utility bills by their reduced energy usage within the
but the Little League doesn't pay, the city pays for
City
the
pays.
utilities. Okay.
What are the parents doing to fundraise?
Parents, they're doing the grandstand, stuff like that, so I'll step down to grandstands, and we're probably going to take the approach of more of a personal one-to-one approach, other than obviously a grand approach on those that are generous. But reaching out to those in the community that we know, or we would let them know what's available if they would like to be generous and donate. So we're kind of taking more of that instead of saying a mass mailing that goes out in the mail. That's kind of what our approach is going to be.
And what part of this, how much is the school participating in this?
The school doesn't. It's no different than them paying a very small fee to rent the high school field for softball and baseball. It's a very small dollar amount fee.
And what's the legal situation?
Well, I already finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. First of all, are you telling me that you're not asking for a financial donation?
I'm not asking you for cash. No.
Okay, well, I looked into this situation. We discussed it at the last meeting. Obviously, there's a lot of problems with donating anything to this project, which would cost HMU money, such if we're paying a labor force to assist, the way I read what I've read, which is an Attorney General's opinion, and I've also looked into it a little bit. Many state legislatures have amended their state constitution to, if it's not an Attorney General opinion, they amended their entire state constitution to add that public entities cannot donate to private entities like the one he's talking about. So obviously we wish we could. I read that to mean that labor that costs HMU money would be considered a cost as would a donation. So that's my opinion. And I wish it was different, but...
But it's public to public's fine, correct?
Well, I mean, it depends on what we're talking about, but this is not a public organization.
It's all public property though.
I understand that, but the organization that is requesting it isn't public. So,
We're raising funds so the city would be asking for potential like-kind and run electrical work.
I'm just giving my opinion on whether HMU can donate money or labor that cost the taxpayers, HMU, money to this project.
I think at this point in time, it was just more or less, the intention was for the board to be informed of the project and be informed of the various issues related to any type of contribution, whether it's cash or in kind. And the project's not even,
No, that you said exactly, we just want to make you aware.
just make it aware. So the board has plenty of time to reconsider or to seek further additional legal. There's really no action required at this time. So,
Thank you very much.
No, thank you for the time, I appreciate it.
thank you, sir.
No action on that. All right, item number 7 is the Mid-American Market Services Agreement.
Yes. Previously, Mid-America has been doing our marketing service agreement for 2 parts. The first part is to market our generation out of the LGS power station into MISO. And the second part is to do our daily load schedule. And so this agreement is coming up to be renewed, excuse me, but there's a letter that I'll be communicating based on this for the agent services, that the load forecasting is no longer required. Only the LGS bid into the market. So it's a partial reduction in the service that we've previously received from them. But the marketing agreement is up for renewal. Jenny, there was
Did
two-
you have
there was-
something to say? Somebody was talking, but.
There were 2 different exhibits, Jenny. Can you, I don't have that note right here.
What?
There were 2 different exhibits related to this.
Yeah, it's the JOU confirmation letter, which I think I put that in the packets.
Right.
And then the letter.
And so the exhibit B, page 1.
Oh yeah, I didn't put that in there because you're not renewing that, so you're approving the letter saying that we're not renewing Exhibit
So the
B.
letter is all that we're approving, which
Yeah.
says we don't need the load
Yep.
schedule.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So this just has to do with the letter terminating load schedule. That's all being handled by Tenasco now, so.
If they're approving the Exhibit B and then the letter that we're terminating, they said they wanted a letter approved by our board or Ken stating that those services were going to be terminated.
So we just have to, somebody's got to make a motion to
Agree to the
agree
termination.
to the termination.
So that I can sign this.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
All right, roll call.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
re-sign.
Cyber guy.
And I will sign it. All right, moving on. SPP Attachment X, credit policy of the open access transmission tariff, and authorize Ken to sign.
Yep, this is our annual renewal for credit application and minimum market participation criteria. It's required by SPP since we're actively in the market on a daily basis, as well as for our transmission cost recovery under the attachment H, which will be here later this month.
And that was sent out in the packets, but I didn't print it since it was like 9 pages long and it's the same as it has been every year. There were no changes.
I'll make a motion, we
For the SPP.
yeah, for the SPP attachment X.
Second,
Roll call.
Michelle, aye.
Sarah, aye.
re-sign.
Cyber guy.
Okay. Item number 9, in light of Ken's pending retirement, the executive committee has engaged in a search, and the board has interviewed, and we have identified a candidate. And we are prepared to offer up the contract at this time. Should I read the contract or?
I did send that out to everybody, so they should have had a chance to review it.
Okay. It will be, obviously, it's a fairly lengthy contract, so I'm not going to read the entire thing. Let's see, where did I have? Did I have anything that we needed to mention or talk about before we?
I think we,
It's a 3-year contract.
It's a 3-year
contract.
Yeah, and it spells out,
I think some of the main points are in a copy of that press release that was set out.
This will be coming out, I'm assuming, in tomorrow's paper.
Well, not their paper, but
Well, yeah.
they've already printed it, but it will go out for everyone.
So, 3-year employment contract beginning June 6th, expires May 31st of 2025. Initial annual salary of $113,000 with, upon successful annual reviews, an increase of $3,500 per year. Yeah, we did make some changes.
okay, I just wasn't aware.
Yeah.
Okay,
I believe you guys all got a copy of that before
right.
it went out in the
But that's why I'm asking, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Ready for a motion?
I motion,
Then I'll second.
all right. Okay. Roll call.
Michelle, I.
Terrell, aye.
Resign.
Cyber die.
Joe, would you?
I'd like to present our CEO of the future, Joe Ruschenberg.
Excited to jump right in.
Looking forward to working with you, Joe.
Great.
Excited. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, in the attempt to keep the meeting short.
You haven't got to my part yet.
No, I know.
That's Dave's whole
But
goal.
we're gonna be all
Keep the
looking at
meeting short.
information only items. You want to cover those?
Yes, 2021-2022 budget amendment. The city of Harlan, because our budget rolls up into the city's budget, they are required annually to file any budget amendment. And they're filing this year, they took action on it actually last week at the city council meeting. And Monty, based on the third quarter numbers, gave the city some new numbers. And basically what it did was it increased electric revenue and expense each by $500,000, primarily due to additional MISO sales and transmission ownership fees. And then natural gas revenue and expense were increased by $300,000 each, based on increased sales and wholesale costs of natural gas. So those numbers were provided to the city, and the city incorporated those numbers in their budget amendment, which they're filing with the state. So at this point in time, it's just an FYI to the board. And quite frankly, by the time Monty got the third quarter done and the city contacted about us, we had to respond, we responded, and that's the information we gave to the city. So it's more informative than anything requiring board action, so. Unless anyone has any questions about that. As everyone's aware, our electric and gas are driven by the weather, so it changes quite a bit year to year, and it is weather driven and circumstance driven, so. And the clear invoices are all for previously approved work.
All right. CEO's report.
Okay. First of all, some kudos. We had kudos from a customer for Shannon, Brian, and Lexi. Customer just wanted to express their appreciation about how nice and personable and how much they appreciate the good service that HMU provides. So we always like to hear that. Shannon had another one from an ex-employee, Al Lickus, about an internet service call that Shannon took care of. So kudos to Shannon on that one as well. And then we had a compliment for Brian Leisher from a customer on Industrial Avenue, and came out and took care of a problem with the water meter. So we appreciate all that our staff does and their interaction with our customers. In addition to that, recognizing Eric Rose, anniversary date 5/18/15. Layla Brown, anniversary date May 27 of 08. And Kevin Beeson, anniversary date 5/28 of 96. So some longevity of our employees there. We've also posted for our water treatment plant operator. This is for the position where Rich Bielenberg took the working foreman position, and so this water operator then replaces Rich. So that is being advertised at this point in time.
Did that still say a 30-minute response?
45.
I thought the ad said 30 minute.
I hope it got
The paper
changed.
said 45. I'm pretty sure I read 45.
We can check that.
Yeah.
Okay, because when I read it when I came back from my vacation, or vacations, I thought it said 30 minutes.
The one yesterday had 45, I think.
Okay, so
I don't know if
maybe
you read or was it yesterday's paper, whatever. Yeah.
We can check to make sure the right information.
Yeah, I mean, if it was in that way last week, it's done and over with, but if Randy said he saw it 45 minutes
Yeah,
from here on
I'm
out.
pretty sure.
Okay.
Okay, in addition to that, just for your information and for our new CEO's information, we have a meeting Monday with our engineers regarding our new raw water development project. So, you know, the invitation's there to dial in, zoom in, attend if you'd like to. But we will be going in depth the water project. Don, what time's that meeting?
1:30.
1:30. Okay. We'll be reviewing both the water and electric part of that project, and we should at that point in time also have an update on our letter of conditions from USDA. So just if you're interested, if you're able to attend, it should bring you up to speed somewhat on the water projects. And if you need a Zoom link or something, we can set one up. So,
Okay, yeah, thanks, Dan.
you bet. What'd I do? Okay. The other thing, we received a formal notification from the DNR that the timeline for doing our lead service line inventory, the due date is October 16th of 2024, so you'll be hearing more about that as we go forward. Basically, we're required to inventory our entire distribution system and identify lead service lines that will need to be replaced. We don't believe we have lead service lines, but we do have some lead connections and other types of things that we're going to have to take into consideration as part of this project, so just FYI.
And is there money?
There was supposed to be some money in some of the federal infrastructure funding that's currently being kicked out there for any kind of lead mitigation, but we haven't followed up on the funding for that project. So. Don, you got anything you want to add on that?
It's just, we're gonna be hunting for galvanized services out in the system, any lead goosenecks that we know of. That's gonna be something we're gonna have to hunt down and replace according with this policy that has been handed down from the IDNR through the EPA. So it's just gonna be a lot of work. We're gonna have to go visually inspect some services. We're gonna have to visually verify the services in the ground and see when our cutoff period was for when we started putting copper in and stopped using galvanized. So there'll be a lot of history documents, research in there, and some actual on-site work that's going to have to occur to get that completed.
My understanding is there is supposed to be funding that's going to be forthcoming for that type of project. March bulk power supply average for the month was $38.47 a megawatt hour. That compared to $30 the previous month. The big difference is that Wise is shut down right now for major overhaul and maintenance. And so we're for the last few months, and I do not have a completion date for the work. I've seen it out as far as the end of May, into mid-June for the completion on the Verizon before it comes back online. But that's why our wholesale costs have gone up a little bit more. And then this email just came in yesterday. Wanted to make the public aware of it. We had a customer call stating they received an apparent scam call telling the customer HMU was showing a large credit on their account and they wanted their personal banking account information to transfer that. So just public be aware. There's always something out there. And then just a couple of thank yous. One from Relay for Life. for our sponsorship, and then also from Shelby County Fair regarding our sponsorship on that as well. So unless there are questions, that's all I have.
How's the water situation going?
The rain helped a little bit. We've seen some of our test wells come up 2/10 of a foot, which is good, but we're not out of the water.
Okay.
So, we're not out of hot water, excuse me. So, no, we're doing what we can to keep them running, and we hopefully can move forward on this well water development project as soon as we can, so we can get where we need to be. Any other questions? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.